Imagine this: you are exactly 100 failures from success. Every rejection, every loss, every mistake is just a step closer to actually becoming that version of you that you want to be. That is what separates you from success. If you were given these statistics, how would you actually respond to your goals? Would you go ahead and hesitate, or would you actually go in? So, if success was actually guaranteed after massive failures or after periods of losses, then what exactly is stopping you from achieving your goals? This is the real problem. People don't fail because they lose. They actually fail because they let one rejection, one failure, and a few losses get into their head, and they end up quitting. They let the losses judge them, they let the rejections define them, and they end up losing very, very badly. And so, if this is the problem, then why aren't people just taking action enough to achieve their goals? If success was on the other side of failure, if this losing rate was predefined, you predefined your losses already, then why are you still hesitating? People actually tend to take failure as an identity. You lose one thing, or you lose in one project, and then you end up defining yourself as a failure. You start thinking that maybe you are meant just for failing. You start thinking that maybe you're not built for success. You let just one failure define your whole personality, and you start calling yourself a failure, or you start seeing yourself as a failure. And it actually runs deep enough, because people actually end up being attached. They're attached to the version of them that is a failure. That is what makes them comfortable, because when you just define yourself as a failure, you don't have any more reason to actually go on and attack your goals. So you'll just end up quitting and not doing anything really with your life. And here's the most dangerous thing: once failure feels really personal to you, you'll start avoiding it. And when you start avoiding failure, then you're doomed for more failures. You fear being judged, because when you fail, people will talk behind your back. They will start gossiping. They will start saying that you cannot even make it in life. And so you fear it. You fear when you become more than average, people will talk behind your back. Maybe people will judge you because you choose to move differently. So instead of actually risking failure, people choose comfort, because this is like the easiest thing to do. Failure is actually like you just sit there. You don't take action. You just go on a normal job, or you just do mediocre things, and you just expect minimum results. You don't expect to be seen out here doing something that goes against people's expectations. This even runs deeper. There's the instant gratification tip. Instant gratification in of itself is actually doing things that make you feel good now, but they are bad for your future. Like scrolling on social media, you get that instant dopamine hit. You feel good whenever you scroll. You feel good whenever you take alcohol, whenever you party. But at the risk of what? Your future. You're actually losing, but you cannot see it, because instant gratification is like the highest dopamine hit you can have. When you actually do it, there are no consequences now. you tend to just feel the moment and at the risk of your future. That goes in contrast with delayed gratification, which is actually doing the hard things, the things you don't like, for your future self, so that your future self can be comfortable. So people expect quick results due to the quick dopamine they get. When a few losses hit, or when they lose at certain times, they just give up, they lose hope, and they move on to another thing, another exciting trend that actually goes through. But a real winner actually stays in his craft until he becomes successful. You do not have to change careers. You just have to sharpen your will and actually do more research, or actually work on your current goals. That is the way to go about it. There's also the illusion of talent. People think that the people who have made it are just naturally gifted. And I know you think that you're one of them. You think that the people who have made it to the top are just gifted. They have a certain talent that you do not have. And that makes you just feel comfortable being average. Because come to think about it, the people who have made it to the top, who have built something out of themselves, are the ones who have gone through trials and tribulations. They've given everything, their whole life, to their goals. And right now, as I'm talking, you're just sitting there instead of just thinking about your life. This is a very dangerous mindset to actually have. You should just choose to work harder. It doesn't cost you anything to work harder in your life. Just try it for an year. Just give yourself like 100 losses. That's all. You lose 100 times. And when you lose, make sure that you improve. You do not make the same mistakes in the second area, in the second attempt. So when you do this, you'll gradually improve, and you'll find that in a short period of time, you'll actually become successful. Because 100 losses, unless you are a really dumb person, if you do not learn from 100 losses, then that means you are actually really dumb. And a person who cannot make something out of 100 losses, cannot learn skills or something out of 100 losses, then he's a doomed man. So if you saw talent as a means of escape, you saw talent like it's gifted to some people, some specific people, then it just seems easy to quit. And I know you want me to tell you things which make you feel good, of which I'm not going to do. I'm going to be really harsh with you. You need to just wake up and stand up and choose to work really, really hard. Think about your life. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you what the 100 failures mindset. And I know you want quick successes. You think you're not built for failure, but the most successful people are actually the people who have failed many, many times. And I know you're going to give me examples of people in martial arts or other things and say they have not failed. You're going to point fingers at me and just shout at me and tell me, this kind of person, this has not failed. But what you don't know is the one success that they've had in the limelight is based on thousands of failures they've had training. They've been beaten by people. And if you look at videos of them training, you'll actually see this. So the thousands of failures, the hundreds, that's what makes them successful. And so I'm actually going to teach you how to reframe your mindset. This is how it goes. Instead of actually avoiding the failures, you chase them. Whenever you feel a certain failure, you think you're a failure, then you just chase more of that failure. And it's easy as that. Like I said, every loss is data. You use it to your own advantage. You learn from every loss, from every exposure. Think of failure as a feedback. If you gradually improve out of those 100 failures, maybe you've failed in one attempt, and then you learn, you take your pen and pencil and you look at your failures, you sit down, you analyze, and you think of one thing you can improve on that, and then you improve on it, and then you fail again, and then you improve on it. Don't you think that it's actually really easy for you to become a millionaire or someone who is a truly remarkable and successful person? If you actually know that you just need 100 failures to reach your success, then rejection actually becomes progress, because after every rejection, you're improving. So eventually you'll become accepted. People will come to accept you. Mistakes become really necessary in your life. You start to think of mistakes as lessons. The mistakes you make, instead of just hesitating and overthinking it, it actually builds your momentum. Instead of slowing down, you actually think like this. You've made one failure, you failed once, then that is 1 out of 100. You just think that after those 100 successes, 100 failures, in the 101st, you'll actually succeed. And it's really easy, because most of the times, if you're actually bright and if you do it right, then you'll find that before those 100 failures, before even the 70th, you'll become really successful and you'll start to see the results. So you'll become emotionally detached. You'll not start taking failures personally. You'll start taking them as a learning curve. You actually focus on the whole process, not the outcome. I'm actually a forex trader per se, and I know it's controversial, but this is where we actually learn this. In forex, you only learn from the whole process, like in a series of trade. Out of 100 trades you've made, what is the outcome? Not 2 trades, not 5 trades. In 100 trades, in many trades, in a month, what profit have you made? Not in a single day. You see, and when you start to think this long term, you start thinking long term, then pure losses and small losses won't really affect you. You'll start thinking in long term. And this is the way to think as a man. Instead of failure actually stopping you, it just pushes you forward. You are so eager to fail in the next step. You're so eager to fail again, so that you will actually become really successful in the next one. So how do you apply this in real life? Let's start with career or money. Every failed idea doesn't really get to your head. Every failed attempt, every bad business attempt, every failure, every time you fall down, you become bankrupt, you think of the next step to actually become better. Each one really teaches you something. And if you don't close your mind and you actually go on it and you focus on the whole outcome, you don't let it get to your head, you'll actually find the mistakes that you've made. And this is the most important part. When you realize the mistakes you've made and you choose to become better, you choose not to make them again, then you will become really successful in a short period of time. And I'm telling you this as a secret. In social life, with women, every rejection tells you something. Every awkward conversation that you've had approaching someone, you just go there, you say hi, you start asking what kind of color she likes. Every failed attempt, the biggest pickup artists of all time actually learn from their failures. They've approached thousands of women, they've approached thousands of people, so they know exactly what people respond to and what they do not. So every time you fail, you actually choose not to make that mistake. And in the process, you'll actually become better and better and better. And each interaction will improve your life. It will actually show you that it's really easy to interact with people. You are just getting in over your head, and you'll become better at interactions with people. In personal growth, let's say in the gym, discipline, you fail at one point, you fail to show up, and you choose just to improve. Maybe you are inconsistent. You promised yourself that you are going to post one video every day, and one day you just lag behind. You choose to learn from that, and you choose not to make another mistake from that. You did not go to the gym today. You choose to go tomorrow. And that is how we learn. That is what is called self-improvement. No one is perfect. In fact, I also miss days. I am also trying. So, as I'm telling you this, I'm speaking from experience. Once you learn this, you choose just to not let it get to your head, and you just choose to become slightly and more disciplined. You'll see how fast your track progress will be. Progress is not like a straight line. It's not a straight curve. It's actually like this. It rises, it falls, it rises again, it falls, it rises again. I'm going to teach you the compound effect. Small actions actually have a really big effect. And you should actually go ahead and read The Atomic Habits. It's a really good book. Small improvements over time are actually the key to success. People only see the sudden success that other people actually do. Maybe a channel has blown up and you just see that it's just maybe luck or it's just sudden, but it's not. The person you see has failed many times, but he just chose not to give up. He just chose to embrace the failures and learn from them and actually become better and better. You've seen my past videos and today's videos. Actually, you can actually tell a really big difference from the way I talk to the way I express myself to my English, everything. I just choose to improve every day. And this is how you should actually be. Why do most people quit? Most people don't have the patience. They expect quick results. They just expect, maybe you want to become a content creator. You just expect that after one attempt or after two attempts or after a week, you'll actually become successful. And this is a wrong mindset to have. When you fail, you'll actually give up. So, which is the best way to look at this? You should actually test your patience. Become really patient. Time is on your side. I always say this. If you choose to act like time is on your side, even in relationships, you will not mess up. You'll actually become better and better. Repeated losses make you really feel like emotional burnout. Repeated losses feel heavy. You take many losses, and so you just choose to give up. This is a really dangerous mindset to have. Because what if in the next attempt you will actually succeed? What if the leap of faith is actually on the next attempt? What are you going to do? You just gave up on the last second. Another reason is because you don't have any vision. You don't have any purpose. So you just choose to jump from one career to another. One does not work out, and so you just choose to jump to another one. And if you are one of these people, I actually sympathize with you. You are a really weak person. If you cannot really embrace failure and you choose just to jump to another career because you just failed, then you have lost all respect from me. Without purpose, without a really good explanation as to why you want to follow whatever you're following, your persistence actually fades. So Just choose something that you have 10 more reasons as to why you are going to do it. And when you have 10 more reasons, then you do not have any reason to think of failure as something that can make you quit. And comparison. You start seeing people succeeding on social media. They are in the same career as you, and they are actually succeeding, and you're just failing. So you choose to take it personally. So if quitting is actually the real enemy, how do you make progress faster? The first one is actually track your attempts. Whenever you make an attempt, you track it. You count failures as progress. You write down where you have failed and why you have failed, and you learn from it. And the second point is detach emotionally. Do not become too emotional over failures. Think of them as normal. Whenever you get too emotional, then you'll start hesitating, you'll start overthinking, and it will lead to more and more failures. And you'll start jumping from one career to another. So just detach. The way they tell you to detach with women. Just detach completely. Stay consistent. Show up daily. Even if you are in 100 losses, 1,000 losses, show up daily. Consistency actually beats intensity. You're not behind. You're not incapable. You just haven't reached your 100 losses yet. Become the greatest your bloodline has ever seen, and then pass it down. You might actually be closer than you think.